Days still. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of No Viz Adventures. Joined today by my good dive buddy Kichi. How are you going, Kichi?
No, I'm not Kichi. I'm Kichi's little brother, but we're twins.
Oh. Cut that part.
Cut.
Today we're going to be reviewing some footage. The footage is of my 10 best fish that I speared in the last year with the help of Kichi.
Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah, so my Spearfishing club has a top 10 list.
Yeah.
And we're going to look back through the footage and yeah, some good footage here. Okay, so for this first fish, I was up north on a really awesome trip away with the boys. Video for that coming soon. And we're diving this spot. There was a lot of mackerel around, and through the murk I just managed to put a spear through one.
Hey Frankie! Yeah, well this one just came, I didn't even dive, I just pointed down and shot it. And it was right like in the murk, and I was like, okay, I think it's there.
So for fish number 2 we have the Yellowtail Kingfish, or as we call them here, kingies. So on this particular day we had some really clear inshore water and we got to explore some spots that we hadn't dived before, and we found this cool structure that had a bit of a small shipwreck on it, and at the bottom I managed to put the shaft in a pretty large size kingy and pretty much stoned it.
Oh, it's got a bit of weight.
Yeah, it's a good size.
Alright, so moving on to Mangrove Jack, which are a fish that I was lucky enough to come across quite a few this year. So on this day we're in a really fishy inshore area, and I'm actually trying out the pole spear for the first time and not having much luck, as you can see. And I crawled over this awesome piece of coral and I found what appeared to be a little bit of a party for Mangrove Jacks, and of course your boy just missed an absolute super shot.
There's more than 2 down there.
Yeah?
There's some big ones too.
Ooh.
You want to just grab the regular gun and spear one?
Yeah, let me have one more shot with this pole there.
I might have fucked them off too.
Alright, so snapper, these are definitely probably the hardest fish to spear locally, and I actually made a video about this particular day and this fish, so go and check that out if you want. But absolutely chuffed with this fish and just managed to quickly get a shot into it because I just don't have the skill to stalk snapper, so I just use anything I can to my advantage, and in this particular case I pretty much just bomb dived it and managed to land it.
Hey! Snapper! You! It just swam up to me!
The black spot tusky, definitely my favourite fish on this list, and the really awesome thing about them is that you can find them in shallow water and you find them in inshore spots. You can get them shore diving. On this day we had some really clean water, wasn't a lot of fish around, and finally got to dive this spot with good viz, and this big blue head just came up to me, so absolutely chuffed with this fish, as you can hear.
He's a big boy. He's a big boy.
The coral trout. Now I know I said that tusky was my favourite, but I think these guys have to take the pick, especially in our local waters. Just a little bit harder to come by, and you generally have to dive a bit deeper. On this particular day, we were really surprised with how clean the water was, and we're diving these really beautiful coral reefs that we get. And as you can see, very excited about the visibility.
I get down there, it's going off. My gun's jammed. Big amberjack, Spanish mackerel, parrotfish, and the viz is f***ing awesome.
And so I just came across this really fishy area. Look at all those surgeon fish. They're usually a great indicator species. Look at all that bait that's just flicking off the bottom there. I knew I was going to come across something pretty good, so I just kind of hovered along the bottom. I know most Spearos will get to the bottom and sit on the bottom, and I do normally do that, but in this instance, I felt like I might have a better chance if I just go with the current, and it certainly paid off.
Nice one, bro.
Alright, so for this footage, my brother's actually following me down, and if you listen closely, is that a thing? Listen closely? You'll actually hear my gun go off, and I managed to stone shot one, and it brings the school in, and my brother managed to get a shot into one too, so it was bloody high fives all round.
Holy shit.
We're back up north again, and I'm looking for trout, and I just look over and I see the whiskers of two pretty large crayfish, so I was absolutely stoked. Went in for the grab, and it's just the typical, you know, you feel like you've got them, but you're just jostling with them and trying to get a good grip on them, and I managed to pull this bad boy out just as Frankie was swimming over towards me, and we were both absolutely stoked because we ate that bad boy for dinner in a hot pot. It tasted so good.
Ripper!
The big Spangled Emperor, one of my favourite fish to chase. They're kind of like the snapper of the north, I guess. Very cagey fish, very hard to get close to. You've probably seen this in another one of my videos this whole trip, so you can watch that video, but this was a lot larger than I was expecting, and we were absolutely chuffed.
Woo! Oh, I got a really nice spangled.
This fish was something like 72 centimeters, I think. I didn't think I would beat that anytime soon, but a few months later I managed to land a much bigger one in New South Wales waters as well, which was unreal.
What'd you get there, Reese?
I'm holding it so tight.
Holy
Huge spangled. And the first one I saw was like 1.5 times as big.
Oh my god. I've never seen one that big, even in the reef. Oh, ow, my toe!
Sorry.
That's how big it is!
Alright, so the last fish on the list is the humble whiting. Now, this is probably one of the hardest fish to spear. They're just such a small target. And I did actually have some footage of this fish, which was unreal because there was heaps of little sharks around, but unfortunately I accidentally lost that footage, so you're just going to have to take my word for it. But anyways, that rounds out my list of my 10 best fish for the year. If you've made it this far, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on the next episode. Peace!